Alright, so what I want to tell you, so now I began to pray with this guy, and we're reading the Bible together, and all of this stuff, and you know, and I'm gonna tell you something else, and it's not about intelligence, and it's not about being so smart or none of that, but I want to tell you this, and when we used to read the Bible, like I just give you a, let me find a description, like he wasn't that good of a reader, okay, so I'm gonna say, let me give you an example. Excuse me. Let me give you an example. Let me see. Let me think of a scripture. Okay, he delivered me from my strong enemy and from them which hated me. In the mighty name of King Jesus. Just say, he deprived me from my enemy and from them which hated me. You see, if you just make, and I used to tell him this, you can't just do that. You need to just take your time. I ain't try to condemn him. If you don't understand what you're reading, if you don't know what you're reading, you can't understand it. You can't just make the word what you want to make it. And I used to constantly tell him this. This is after this happened with the evil spirit. I'm thinking he's totally delivered. And now I'm praying with him, and we're singing songs together and all this. And this is what I'm telling you. Devils will do anything. They'll do anything. They sit right there destroying themselves because of this. And he used to tell me and he told me this after that. And I think it was at this point. He's like, when you used to be praying, my feet used to be hot, like it was in some hot oil, and it used to be on fire. Okay, and this and now, and so let me think. And now, so after this, and one time he's praying in tongue, but I feel the spiritual attack. I feel like something attacking me with this. And at that point, I had stopped. I stopped uh, praying with him. Okay, and it was something. He still used to be like shaking and turning at night. And I'm like, oh no, I don't know, I don't know. And it was like God was speaking to me. Nah, it's still something there. And I'm like, are you all right? You think everything's gone? And he's like, yeah, but it's really an evil spirit. And so at the point that I felt that he was attacking me again, I just stopped talking to him, and I was trying to, and I had gave him some tongues that I had wrote down. Okay, I'm gonna tell you that too. I don't want to get into that too much. You might don't believe this. It's just about faith. And he didn't really want to use it. And I hate to bring the Bible out on him, and I ain't trying to bring condemnation against him, but it says, he that hath shall be given, and he that hath not, from even what he has shall be taken away from him. So if you don't use what you have, then it need to be, you don't need it. There's no need in it. And he never you used to pray and stuff, and I ain't like that. I'm committed to God. Even at this point, I don't really have understanding. And the thing is, like after this, so after I stopped praying with him, I stopped talking to him, period. I stopped talking to him. I cut all communication off from him. I cut all communication off from him. And I'm noticing the spiritual attacks, and I cut all communication off from him. And then, now what happened is, and one day I told him, look, stop eating from these people. See, I didn't know this at this point. I told him, stop eating from these people. And then one day he went and he had a couple of soups, and he took the soups and he made this, they call it a pocket with this guy. And so he's doing this fun thing, but the whole time these are evil spirits, and he's warped up into some evil spirit. Is he there? Yeah, he's there, but the soul is gone. Okay? And so I said, come on, let me pray over this at least. And then so he prays over it, and then we're about to go in the room, and then he tries to eat it, and see, God released his power, and he couldn't eat it. And I'm talking about, it's probably like $3-4 worth of food in there that he cooked. I didn't eat it, and then he threw it away in the toilet, because I wasn't going to eat anything from them like then. I was just like, I could have eaten it. I'm going to tell you this, my faith was just smaller than, like, no, I don't eat that, and it's not about food anyway. So he didn't eat it, so he threw it in the toilet. I'm like, why you don't want it? He's like, I just can't eat it. And then now he tries to eat a peanut butter sandwich or something. And I'm like, why you just throw that away? Now you eating a peanut butter sandwich. Then so I said, come on, man, let's pray over this. Then so he eats a peanut butter sandwich and pray over it. Then he can't eat the peanut butter sandwich no more. And at the point in time when I brought the evil spirit up, the evil spirit had put Kool-Aid. He used to put like Kool-Aid in the water. And then, because they only could drink the cold water. They never could drink the water out of the sink. And then he's like, our water is blood, and I figured the water was blood, and it was subliminal, because they do so much subliminal stuff. And they used to have water bags. They had to have cold water. They love cold water. They don't like regular water. Okay. And then anyway, so after this, after I stopped talking to him, and one day he's eating. I'm just watching him to see how he's gonna carry on. He's carrying on. He's still playing cards, watching TV, and all this stuff. I told him, you need to cut that. You need to cut back from that. I know you can't just depend on a person, just cut back from that so much, but I told him you need to cut back from that. And then, and he's still cursing. He continuously saying the GD word too, and I'm like, man, you need to stop cursing. And he's saying the N word too, as you know, as a black male, what the black males use is to describe themselves, okay? And he continuously saying that, and I'm like, man, you need to stop. You need to work on that. But anyway, I cut communication with him, and one day I'm laying down. I had put my mat on the floor by the door. I was on the top bunk, because this was another attack they used to do. They just bump the bed and bump the bed and bump the bed and try to act like they're doing it by mistake, and they're not. Okay. And then, so I saw him eating some more food. He went and got some more food from somebody, and then he ends up hey, y'all daddy right there. You don't want to go in there in the front. There go y'all daddy. There you go. You better go out there and get him.
I'm gonna go ask somebody to take us out.
Yeah, go tell Brandon to take y'all out.
Okay.
But anyway, and then get back. And end up anyway, what happens is I'm in the room, it's one morning, it's early in the morning, and so he eats or whatever, and I don't know, he lays back down or something. I don't know what he does. I think maybe he lays back down, but I'm on my knees praying. And I'm just praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. I'm not praying out loud or anything. And the next thing you know, he jumps off of the bed. His eyes are rolled back in the back of his head. Like you can't even see, ain't no black part, ain't nothing but white part. And he's acting like an animal. Like you see those people on TV Joshua thing acting like animals, he's acting just like one of those. Just like one of those. And then I don't know what to do. I kind of had some fear in me because he's acting very vicious. I'm talking about vicious, like a vicious animal. Eyes rolled back in the back of his head. I ain't never seen this before. This ain't like the first one I seen now. The first one talking to me like a man. This one right here just like straight up like an animal. Okay? And then so I got kind of fear, but I got to rise up against fear. I just like, God, what I'm finna do? God help me. And I did like this here. I say, I cast you out in the mighty name of King Jesus. And then, next thing you know, he falls out on the floor. And end up he gets up now, and then I think it's gone. I think it's gone again. It's not gone. It's still there. It's never going nowhere. And then so what happens is he gets up a little bit later on. It took him a little while, when God is removing stuff. It may take a second or two for him to get up. And then when he gets up, and I'm like, man, hey, look, man, Will, man, you've been attacking me. I told you about eating this food from these people, because I'm thinking this, and he had took some cookies from a guy, and then, or something, or he ate something, and I'm like, and I'm talking to him again, and now I think he's delivered again, and I'm like, man, I'm not letting you go nowhere this time, man. I'm gonna have to go and sit down with you and watch everything you do, man. And I'm thinking he's delivered, and he still ain't delivered. And then next thing you know, so I'm steady trying to work on it and work on it and work on it with him, and so many different, and God is just allowing me to do this, and I continue to cast them out like daily. This goes on for about 2 weeks before I go to prison, because I had taken my time already by this time. And then he's supposed to already got out, but see, nothing can move without God. God kept him in there. He already supposed to been with the court all this, ain't nothing shaking for him. God keeping him in there so God get through, doing what he doing with me, with him, okay? And then and one day this confusion spirit comes up, and it's just like going like crazy, like slobbing and spitting everywhere and all this stuff. And then you're casting them out, and see, I didn't know this at this time. And I used to just pray in tongues to get them out too, and just ask like, God, I used to get tired at some time. I used to be like, God, can you just please just get them out for me in my mind though? and then God may get them out, after a while. And see what I realized and what God told me about casting them out. This was early on before God showed me all this stuff. You're casting them out, and it looked like they're not going nowhere, but they're going. But it's just so many of them. That's why it seems like they're not going. And you just continue to cast them out, but they're going. All right. And then after this happened, then so many spirits came out of him. It was a python spirit. So many other spirits came out of him, and I continue to cast them out. And I'm thinking they're all gone. Then I'm finna go to prison. This day they just called me out of the blue, and I'm about to go to prison. I'm like, oh man, Will, we're not through with your deliverance yet. And I'm thinking he's gonna be delivered, and it ain't happening. And the thing is, before I leave, I working on it. I stayed up and I'm working on it. And then God is casting him out. See, he used to belch too. When he used to belch him out, but I'm gonna tell you, see, the thing is, when he used to belch, he used to get just like a little It wasn't like this, like the way I belch. At first, I used to have those small belches, but now you see how it comes out, okay? And then anyway, but when I get ready to leave, he's like, all right, my end. And I'm like, oh man, Will ain't gonna make it. But this, and then I didn't realize this. It's never happening. He's gone. And then the thing is, and that's my first experience. And then that's when I realized I don't know if any of you listened to me before, but that's when I was talking about when I got down there, when I got to prison, when I got to Jackson, and then when I went in the room with this guy, and he was just sitting there, and he used to be trembling like this and stuff. And I was like, man, why won't he just repent? Why won't he just say, God, I don't want to do this no more? And I know he has the mark of the beast at this point. And then, um, God speaks to me, like, because the evil spirit, I'm going to tell you, and I spoke about this. One day I was speaking to one of the evil spirits, and they travel through anything. The evil spirit said that the woman brought him through the light. He was already there. And I'm gonna tell you something. It's over everything. They just touch stuff. And they just might. I remember, and I've been in a room with several people. They just touch stuff. Why you just touching stuff? They might just touch the shirt or touch the light. I used to have this guy. I used to just cast them out in my head. This was one of my last roommates before they sent me from Alberta State Prison. I used to say nothing. I just used to be talking to God and doing it in my head. And then he might flush the toilet, because they use the toilet to flush the toilet. And I just loose the power of God on the toilet through my mind. Okay. And the thing is, when he used to flush the toilet, God used to, I don't know how much wrath God used to pour out, but God used to knock them spirits off, and then he might touch the light, touch this, they start touching stuff. And this stuff is weird. Now, you the one acting crazy. And then he started tying stuff around his neck. That was one of the last guys before I left. But when I was in Jackson, before they sent me and locked me in a room by myself, and God showed me all the stuff, and I was able to see the spirits in the little round parts, and I was able to see, and I know that, and that's when I began to learn once God locked me in a room by myself. And see, I'm going to tell you something I'm going through right now. See, it's beginning a little bit. God is allowing me to experience some of the pain that they can cause you when they're being removed. See, I haven't spoke about this. Yeah, they cause you pain when they're removed. I remember once when I was it's just happened to me several times. Once it hurt me so bad I couldn't even cry. I cried several times in the room by myself, like when I was in the room. See, that's why God had allowed me to be put back there. They thought they were doing something to me, like doing something, but I had to be I couldn't have went through that in front of a lot of people. And I'm experiencing some of the pain now, but it's not like it was at that point. And thank God for keeping me from that, because the ones now are a lot stronger than the ones that put me in pain at first. That was almost at the beginning when I went through that pain. And I'm talking about this so painful, and it doesn't just last for a minute, and you got to go through all the reinforcement that they're doing for it to be destroyed, and it's very painful. And that's why when people out here sinning and you let them evil spirits in you, you just don't know that they can cause you a lot of pain. They most definitely can. They cause me a lot of pain. And I'm having a little pain right now, but it's just only, it's not like I've been. Thank God for keeping me from it. Thank God for relief. But anyway, and then that's when God told me these people are evil spirits, and these people warped up in evil spirits. The soul is gone. The soul is gone. And like, yeah, are they there? They're there, but they're evil spirits. And I'm telling you, like, and I'm in all these prisons, all these people. Jackson got like 2,500, 3,000 people. Central State got like 3,000 people. Alberta's got like 1,000 people. Fulton County Jail got like 2,500, 3,000 people. And I left there and I went back there for the charges I had, because remind you again, I went to prison for probation. Now I'm out here in Georgia. Everywhere I go, they all have it, and I know because I know about the spiritual attacks, and sometimes I feel them, but I could just recognize them. Like something is about to be destroyed. I'm just going to give you an example. And it doesn't always happen this time. You get an erection in your private area, and now here comes some lady walking down the street with some tights on, with her pants pulled up in her crotch. And what is leading this? This is being led by evil spirits. And see, the thing is, these people got the mark of the beast. They hate me. They hate me. Do they hate me? They hate me. Psalm 25:19, consider mine enemies, for they are many, and they hate me with cruel hatred. These people hate me out here. These people hate me out here. And that's why I'm like, I don't even want to attach to this life. You know how much knowing all of this stuff, I'm telling you something, you think this is just fun? This ain't fun. I'm not looking for no fame or none of that. This ain't